Chapter 2 A Mother's Love. Once driven out of the sanctuary of the Great Valley walls, Chomper found himself in the mysterious beyond. Though he wasn't alone, for his parents were with him, and it reminded him of his youth. However, things took a turn for the worst when Redclaw showed up, wanting his revenge. Chance took Redclaw on, Charity fleeing with Chomper. Gazing behind them, Chomper saw his father get struck to the ground, Redclaw biting his neck and ending Chance on the spot. His mother pushed him to continue, only for a set of fast biters to block their path. Screech jumped, and Chomper tried to keep him back, Thud distracting Charity enough for Redclaw to catch up. Chomper may have been half-grown, but was no match for Redclaw's mighty force. He was barely able to hold his own against Screech, who laughed. "Come on, at least try to protect yourself, for this is embarrassing." Screech hissed and slashed at Chomper, forcing the boy back. In seconds, Redclaw made it to them and attacked Charity, the pair roaring and whipping their tails, circling one another. With a mighty stomp, Charity head-butted Redclaw, knocking him backward. Unable to get his footing, Redclaw scratched her leg, dropping her and spinning to knock her all the way down. With a great thud, she was on the earth, struggling to rise and catch her breath. "Mom!" Chomper yelled, seeing Screech and Thud standing in his way. "No!" With a yell, he went and blew by the pair, sending them through the air and into some brush. "Mom!" "Chomper, don't!" Charity called, seeing him run toward Redclaw. Ignoring her, Chomper bit Redclaw's tail, being lifted and thrown down, a foot landing harshly on his chest, pinning him there. Peering down, Redclaw smiled. "Fool, you will never win against me. Never! You're weak, a pathetic excuse for a Sharptooth. Why, if you were my son, I'd have ended you long before this." "You don't scare me!" Chomper's claws dug into Redclaw's leg, yet the great foot didn't budge. "Some day, somehow, someone will take you down, and I'll be there to watch you fall." "No, you'll be dead. I'll see to that," Redclaw snickered, opening his jaw. Before Redclaw could kill Chomper, Charity rose and leapt onto Redclaw's back, the pair sent tumbling, knocking down trees that lay in their path. Crashing and shaking the earth, Redclaw was stronger and took a few good nips out of Charity, who fought on despite the losing battle. Unable to assist, Chomper stood and felt a sense of dread bubble up, watching, and was completely helpless to aid her. Eyes welling with tears, not wanting to lose her too, he took several quick breaths and clenched his jaw. Then he raised his arm, reaching out and yelling, "Mom!" Then something strange happened, something unexpected. Redclaw was moved a few yards away by some great force, tumbling over and over, coming to a stop while plumes of dust rose around his still form. Charity looked to Chomper, eyes wide, grateful to be okay for the moment. There was no doubt her injuries were great, putting a strain on her as she stood on groggly legs. When Redclaw tried to rise, the force kept him down, feeling as though a great weight were upon him. Growling and thrashing, he was perplexed by what was happening. He looked around, and then his eyes fell on Chomper, making the connection and becoming fearful. For if his hunch was right, it was Chomper who placed the curse on him. Chomper saw Redclaw struggle, feeling as though his energy had been sucked out, dropping to his side while blood dripped from his nose, his vision blurred, finding his mother rushing to him. Unable to stay awake, he passed out, waking once or twice, being carried by Charity. Behind her was a trail of blood, noticing her body was covered in cuts and bite marks left by Redclaw. Somehow she managed to reach the beach across from the mysterious island, letting him down and dropping to the sand with exhaustion. Collecting himself, Chomper pushed himself up and crawled to her. "Mom, can you hear me? We made it. All we have to do is cross the land path. We're so close now. Nudging her with his nose, he looked her over with glassy eyes. Come on, get up. You can do it. I don't think I can. Charity used all her strength to carry him to safety, knowing she wouldn't be able to go any farther. Sure you can. You're strong. Chomper, do you recall me mentioning the unknown to you? She asked in a weak voice, looking at him with tender eyes. Yes, I do. And the song as well. I wish I could explain it all to you, but I fear time is running out. You'll be okay. Let me help you. Chomper tried to move her, only for his feet to dig into the sand, slipping and falling. Still, he repeated the act and spoke with a trembling voice. You'll be okay. You're not gonna die. Death is a part of life, Chomper. Nothing to fear. It is the great balance we must all abide by. But I have so many questions, answers only you have. Go to the unknown. There, all will be revealed. Charity gazed across the big water, eyes beginning to glaze over. You'll find the answers. There, across the big water, into the unknown. The unknown. Chomper looked to the horizon, turning back and seeing her eyes shut and her breathing stopped for good. Eyes welling with tears, he sat and cried, mourning the loss of his mother. He remained by her that night, yet crossed the land path when the bright circle rose. Walking, he took one last look at her corpse, shedding a few tears and pressing on, wondering how he'd ever cross the big water and into the unknown. What answers would he find, and more importantly, who would tell them to him? Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a mother full of memories. Come, my Chomper, homeward bound. When all is lost, all is found. The song echoed in Chomper's adult dream, hearing her sing to him. Why, it was as though he could feel her arms around him again, which was impossible, for he was fully grown, big, yet never to the height of his parents. Blinking, Chomper felt a tear along his cheek. Unlike before when he'd cried to himself, a hand gently wiped the droplet away, the fingers belonging to Ruby. Her blue eyes gazed upon him without fear, nor judgment, only tenderness. Sorry I woke you, he whispered. It's all right it is. Where to even begin with Ruby? For words couldn't describe the emotions that came over him when she was near. Ruby saved his life when he was a small biter, showed no fear toward him, and befriended him despite the obvious species difference. She was his caretaker when they left the dangerous, mysterious beyond and lived in the Great Valley, Ruby becoming more to him than just a friend over the years. Though after he was run off, she was left behind, heartbroken, alone, and lost like he was. She left the safety of the Great Valley and crossed the mysterious beyond to reunite with him, deciding to remain with him on the mysterious island. Though trouble followed, for Hip, along with a mob, reached the island and tried to have him killed. Luckily, the gang showed up to help Ruby and saved his life. That'd been a few days ago, when Ruby made the choice, wanting to remain by his side for good. With a soft hum, she stroked his face. Chomper, you all right? Okay, are you? The way she spoke might have been odd to others, yet to him it was comforting. Yeah, just a strange sleep story. He nuzzled her, meeting her lovely eyes. No different than when you'd wake up crying, missing your family. And I had you to comfort me then, as I comfort you now. With a worried expression, she brushed his square jaw. What was it about? My mother, singing to me. Looking upward, he hummed the melody. haven't thought about that song or her in a while. With a shake of his head, he saw Ruby was tired, hearing her yawn. Never mind that. Let's go back to sleep. Okay. Giving him a tender kiss, she settled. I love you, Chomper. I love you too, Ruby. Before he rested his muzzle, he heard a voice, calling from outward. Eyes scanning the big water, he held his breath and heard it again. He gasped and spoke. Ruby, did you hear that? When he looked at her, she was already asleep. With a sigh, he tried to doze off too, though even in sleep, he swore he could still hear the voice, a haunting melody.